Motel Hell is very strange, in the sense that it's a really fun 80s horror movie, but it didn't get milked to death like every other good, average, or even bad movie at the time. Well anyway, just how good is 1980s Motel Hell? Well, let's talk about that.
Wanna know why Vincent's meat tastes so good? He mixes the pork with
Sweet old Grandpa Farmer Vincent, along with everybody's weird Aunt Ida, are a brother and sister who run a nice little motel out in the country, and sell some of the best meat you'll ever taste. The only problem is, it's made of people. After blowing out the tires of a motorcyclist, Farmer Vincent takes the survivors, Terry and Bo, to his nearby motel. Once they're there, he takes Terry to a room, and the next morning she learns from Farmer Vincent that Bo passed away. This is a lie. He's actually had his vocal cords removed and got buried up to his neck in the garden with a bag over his head. But she doesn't know that. From here, we watches Vincent and Ida get up to their silly little shenanigans, and the rapey simp cop brother tries making the moves on Terry. Too bad for him though, because she's developing feelings of her own for Farmer Vincent. Because I guess she's into grandpas. Don't know. Eventually, Bruce, the cop brother, figures out Terry and Farmer Vincent are getting married, because you can't have premarital sex. That's just wrong. And this causes him to lose it, and sets off on a mission to bring his brother down and take Terry for himself. But when he sets off on this mission, he uncovers things he should have found out a lot sooner. Like apparently there's 300 cars out in the lake, and there were even bullets around the place Terry and Bo crashed. So I guess not only is the cop a simp, an attempted rapist, but he doesn't even do his job. If anything, he does the opposite of his job. Don't think I forgot about you trying to force yourself on Terry and breaking into the bathroom while she was in the bath, buddy. Oh yeah, and he claimed the bullets were in her tires, but they got taken out by a spike strip, I think. It's been a minute since I watched it, so I could be wrong, but I was pretty sure that it was something on the road that made them crash. So either it's an inconsistency, he lied, I could be wrong, I don't know. I can't really say for sure right now. Well anyway, once this happens and he confronts Terry, Vincent makes him leave. Ida drugs her, and then the cop returns that night and breaks into the bedroom, confronts her again, and then gets his ass caught and beat by Ida. And our story comes to an end when Ida takes Terry to the barn, or whatever you want to call it. The victims escape from the garden, and Farmer Vincent ends up in a chainsaw fight with Rape Cop. For the most part, the characters are great. I loved Farmer Vincent, and when the movie was over, I wanted to watch more of Rory Calhoun in horror. Unfortunately though, just like Jim who played Drayton in Texas Chainsaw, this is it. I thought Vincent was a great character though, and he's the type of killer who knows what he's doing isn't right, but at the same time, believes he's doing a good thing. He's one of those guys. Ida, she's a weirdo, just everything about her. She looks like everybody's strange aunt, and she just has this oddness about her. This almost certainly comes from the fact she's not all there in the head. She's just not as good as hiding it as Vincent is. Actually, at one point, she almost tells Terry and the cop what they put in their meat. And speaking of Terry and the cop, I like Terry. She had good enough final girl potential, though I found her strange. Either something went terribly wrong with the pacing, the writers had an idea and rushed the hell out of it, or Terry's suffering from a type of Stockholm syndrome. So Terry's staying at the motel after they crashed, and she learned her boyfriend apparently died. And days later, she's showing off her tits, locking lips, and wanting Daddy Vincent to pound her. She did say beforehand that she was thankful for him saving her from almost drowning in the lake, so it's possible that that's what caused this reaction, though the very next day, they're preparing to get married. So, I don't know. Like I said, she's gotta be suffering from some type of mental issue or trauma, or the writers rushed the hell out of this Terry X grandpa shit. As for the cop, I very much disliked him. You know what? Actually, I hated him. This guy is our Tommy Jarvis. He's okay, well I can only think of one male hero horror icon, but still, he's supposed to be the good guy that saves the day. But I can't get past how horrible he is at his job, how he sexually assaulted Terry multiple times, and how obsessed he was over her. He comes across more as the killer, more as the creepy stalkery guy, than a good guy cop. And just like Terry, this too is a case of a character suffering from mental illness, or he's actually just a victim of sloppy writing. I can get behind some romance in horror, or some cutesy shit, but there's nothing cute about Terry and Bruce the cop. And if I was her, this is someone I would want to be very far away from. Now Terry didn't ruin anything, and though I hated the fact Bruce is the hero, he didn't ruin anything either. I do wish Vincent killed him in their fight though, but it's whatever. And speaking of cons, I dislike the Walking Dead type snarls the garden victims made. The garden people were buried up to their necks and had their vocal cords removed, and for some reason, they all decide to constantly make zombie sounds. I get they want to be heard and escape, but at some point you gotta realize there's no point and give up. Maybe I wouldn't have minded if it was a different sound, but I just found it so annoying. Also, they were so aggressive when they were buried, swinging their heads around, snapping snapping their teeth. Like, I get if you want to hurt the people who hurt you, but they acted inhuman, like zombies. And as a matter of fact, they were zombies when they escaped. So somehow one of the guys get an arm free, then he managed to get out and free all the others. From there we watch them shamble around like zombies, and then when they get to Ida, they swing their arms, snarl, and snap their teeth like people who were told to pretend they were zombies. It was just weird. Y'all are people. People who were just buried up to your necks. You still got fed. What's stopping you guys from rushing her and taking her out? Or for some of the fresh captives, who would most likely have more energy than the rest, to just beat her to death. They did manage to beat her and bury her, but from their noises and their actions, they were just weird. Like I said, it was like they were told to pretend they were zombies. Anyway, that aside, I really did like this movie. It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoy the character of Farmer Vincent. Again, I think he's a great horror villain. In the end, I'd rate 1980's Motel Hell a solid 8 out of 10. If you've seen this movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.
Looking for more horror fun?
You're goddamn right.
Then check out the VHS comic book series, a parody of the horror genre that follows the lives of 3 teens as they fight to survive a horror movie, where every day is loaded with blood, boobs, and buds. The first 2 issues can be found in the description below.
I was obsessed with the VHS.